Hey everyone, welcome to our very first Build It Brief. I am super excited to be launching this new series by IT by Design. So if you love Build It, you love what we do in each of our sessions at Build It. They're all education all the time. And the new series that we're launching is to keep that going and not just have it once a year at Build It. We're looking for content and collaborators that understand the value of paying it forward and leading with education first mindset and lifelong learning. And so you'll see us every 2 weeks on the same channel. I'm trying to get some more popped in there. The team's like, what, lady, you're crazy. But definitely every other week. We already have a lineup of people all the way through the end of the year and different topics that will be relevant to you. And so even if it's not you joining or someone else from your team is joining, we definitely see that there's tons of value. You're able to ask questions, but it's just the concept of Build It, paying it forward, leadership, thoughtful content that is focused on your learnings. And so we're launching this new Build It Brief series with our dear friend, Daniel Wang from MSPbots. And he's going to be talking all about AI and operational efficiency. And we're very good partners and friends with MSPbots. They are integrated into our team GPS software. And so, we see the value there of this partnership. And so we hope you do too. And with that, I'm going to introduce Daniel and Josh, who are going to take it away.
Thanks, Cam. What we have here, just a little bit of housekeeping while everybody gets settled, is that we are going to run a Q&A at the end of this session. So definitely pop your questions in. We'll do our best to answer, or Daniel will answer. He's the expert here. And just as a note, this session is being recorded. You will receive a copy of the recording in your mail probably tomorrow. So with that, I'd like to hand it off to our expert here, Daniel.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for the intro. Let me see. Okay, cool. Today, the topic is AI and operational efficiency, really separating the hype from the reality and the practicality, right? So very quick introduction about myself. So I was I founded and grew my MSP from 0 to about 2 million in 2009. So I was in the trenches for 7 years, from one-man shop, be the service, the marketing, the sales, the culture, the value, the management. I learned tons of the stuff from my peer group member. I was a long time Robin Robbins Taylor Business Group member. Also was in the True Method entrepreneur organization. So the peer groups played a tremendous a role in my growing in my MSP business. Also, I saw a lot of the pain, from my own MSP journey, and also I observed my peer groups, their journey. So it's to the point that it's kind of like, oh my God, growing the MSP is so difficult. There's so many things, so many departments, so many different kind of client, so many moving pieces, so many different devices that you have to handle every single day. So it ends up after 7 years running it, I got a little bit of burnout, took a 3-year semi-retirement. During that 3 years, I did mainly the angel investing. I'm still doing some of them. So we totally invested about 36 small startups. Well, not some of them not small anymore. Early stage startups, mainly focused on the SaaS, big data, the AI there. So it's really combined with my painful experience growing my own MSP and my peer group observing everybody have so many trouble, and also the lesson I learned from doing the investing, dealing with the hundreds, right? In order to invest in that 36 company, I look at hundreds different startups, how they use the data, automation, AI to solve other industries' problem. I'm like, hey, we can use those stuff to solve MSPbots problem. So I founded MSPbots 2019 with mind to say how we can use the data, AI, automation to help MSPs to solve the problems I had before. So fast forward 4 years later, we have like 120 employees right now. and serving about more than 1,900 MSPs all over the world, from the New Zealand, UK, Australia, Europe, of course, mainly on the United States, Canada. So we just recently, a couple of months ago, finished the $5 million round with the Mercury Fund. So mainly focus on the expanding to the new territory and the AI world, right? So, yeah, where's AI, right? AI is such a hot topic, right? There's so much conversation is going on. It's really the ChatGPT exploded this conversation, but AI is something been there for since 1950s, right? A lot of progress, hypes, and valleys. So we did this one. If people who's actually online can take a screenshot or take a picture. Using this one, we have these 23 questionnaires. We send it to a lot of our partners, prospects. So if you sign up, you can actually get the participate in this 23 question survey. So some of the survey questions here, right? Are you aware of the AI? How you identify the KP in this area? Are you prepared? So of course, this is the screenshot. The data is keep changing with more and more people participating, right? So if you summarize all this data, 23 pieces of data, you can get the sentiment, right? Where the MSP world, how people look at the AI. So overall, is we say the people are really curious about the potential. It's such an amazing invention, right? Some people call it AI probably the last major invention in the carbon-based humanity, right? So a little bit of sci-fi kind of the stuff, but he's really curious about the potential, very excited about the future, right? But in the meantime, is confused with the claim. Is this going to be, Matrix, right? Is it going to be Terminator? Is this going to be Star Trek, right? Where is this AI going to become? And also concerned about the risks, right? On the news, there's all kinds of the stuff talking about Elon Musk says this is the AI could be the number one. Sorry. There's some. So yeah, this could be the number one risk there, right? Go in to really, so it's get a lot of emotions going on. The confusing concern, and some of them FOMO in. Let's jump in, right? We cannot wait. Let's do something about it without a plan. So it's definitely a super exciting, but also very confusing time. So hopefully today we can give somebody, share some of my thinking, and the experience. So start with the hype, right? My personal journey, right, as an IT gig, being the IT my whole life, since Matrix time, I've always believed that AI going to AI going to take over the world. But I always believed that AI going to take the world probably like 200-300 years later, or 2,000-3,000 years later, whoever. Not my problem, probably my great-great-grandchild problem, right? But this is my personal journey. Again, everybody can take a screenshot or get that QR code. This is the one article. I read this article about 2016. This is for me is a pivot moment there. So at the 2016, middle of the 2016, after I left my MSP, I have plenty of time. I started reading a lot of stuff. So I stumbled upon this article. It was written by this guy named is Tim Urban, right? If anybody have extra time, can Google Tim Urban. Is a test speaker. Elon Musk has some collaboration with him. Pretty cool. But when I read in this article, it's already 1 year later, right? This, as you can see, I highlighted here. This one was written 2015. This is by far, typically I don't recommend any, I'd be cautious of, hey, if you read anything about AI more than 3 months, be careful, right? Because the information may be outdated. But this one, after 8 years, is still super relevant. Or I would say he actually pretty well predicted what's AI going to happen. So this is a pretty long one. It's a whole thing. It takes about an hour to finish. But I think this is one of the best articles for people to have a grand picture of what's the incoming, or right now, what's the AI revolution looks like. So with the time frame, right, everybody can get it by yourself. But this is a screenshot from that blog, right, article. So most people believe, right, AI is here, right? Back then in the 2015, we said, oh, this is AI, it can do some cute stuff. It still cannot, tell what's the difference between the cat and the dog, but it can do a lot of cute stuff, right? It's what are the adorable, funny robots, and the monk can do some monkey tricks. You believe this is the ant, bird, chimps, dumb human, and Einstein. Most people think, oh, I'm better than the dumb human, but not Einstein level. And here's how AI compare. But the author believe, right? And I think I also believe this is where the actual progress is going to happen. This is the ant, right? From the ant to the bird, to the chimp, and we're right here. So we're very fast in the next, 20, 30 years, we're going to get into this territory on the right side. I don't know if my pointing is working or not, but on the right side, right? So super interesting, very easy reading article, highly suggested. So give you some idea. Also, this is another data, right? We're a data company, so I always love using data to say. So most people don't know the Anguilla Island, right? It's a teeny tiny dot. If you look at the Google map in the Caribbean, right? Most people, even you zoom in, you probably cannot find them when you look in the Bahamas, Dominican Republic. But here's one thing very interesting. A lot of people don't know the .ai domain is not .a artificial intelligence, it's .Anguilla Island, right? So this island is a teeny tiny dot in the Caribbean. Somehow get this domain name called .ai. Look at the revenue generated by selling the .ai domain, right? For all the IT guys, right? You guys we're dealing with a lot of domain registration. Typically, .com domain is $15 a year, but .ai domain is $90 a year. So they are charging that premium. I registered my first .ai domain back in the 2016. It was like $90 because they said, hey, you guys want it? We can sell it. Why not? But if you look at it, all this trajectory, the 2023, the AI domain registration exploded, right? It has been steady growth since 2017, but nothing like the 2023 explosion. So, and here's some facts, right? This is all have the Google support. If you put any of these, each line item into the Google, you can find the more detailed information. OpenAI founded 2015. ChatGPT released last November, almost a year. And after the release, no marketing, no sales. They just put on the Twitter, says, hey, we have a new version. Everybody give it a try, right? If you're interested, and it's free. So within 2 months, it reached 100 million user. The fastest user acquisition, in the software industry or in any business ever by that time. Later, Facebook released the thread, overtake that one. But from the active user every day, ChatGPT still remain, probably the winner there. Meta released the open source first version. Now hundreds, literally in last 7 months, there are hundreds different open source large language model and new ones being released every day. And the GPT-4, there's assessment, people can Google it, right? It beat about 90% of human by doing the SAT test and the bar exam for the lawyers, right? Sam Altman, who is the founder of the OpenAI, they believe the AI will better than the expert level. So currently the GPT-4 is achieved the college student level of the intelligence, right? Imagine you have a very smart MIT student, a college graduate. That's where the GPT-4 is. It has a lot of general knowledge. But if you compare it to a 20 years, lawyer, CPA, dentist, IT guy, GPT-4 still not there. Some Altman believe it takes another 10 years with some expert training. By time we get the GPT, 8, 9, then that will be equal to 20, 30 years expert, which pretty much beat the most of a human in the world by that time. Yuval is a famous author, is doing the Sapiens, right? He has a very good TED talk. Is talking about the whole human civilization. People are like, man, it's a language model. It's cute. It can answer questions. What's the big deal about it? He believes that the whole human civilization as operating system is built on top of a language. All the dictatorship, the great leaders is all through the communication. The religions all through the language. So like right now we have the war between the Israel and Palestine, right? Many of them is because of the belief system. How the belief system come out is because of language. So the large language model play a very essential role there. Elon Musk started XAI, bought billions of dollars of the GPU, and they have their Dojo supercomputer. Elon Musk believe AGI, right, artificial general intelligence, gonna arrive 2029, which is only 6 years left. And also 2029 has a special reason because the Ray Kurzweil believe that's where the singularity gonna come, right? Microsoft invested $10 billion a couple of months ago, announcement, right, in the OpenAI, and you guys probably already received all the update. Microsoft Copilot is from the Windows, PowerPoint, Office, PowerPoint, coding, editing, everything. Google is already get everything in it, right? Google acquired DeepMind. TikTok bought $1 billion GPU. Apple invested 22 billions in the Apple GPT to upgrade the Siri or everything there. And Amazon invested 4 billion in the AI. So it's overall, it's become like everything will become a model. Everything, you're the MSP, the whole MSP industry is a model. Your own personal MSP will become a model. You have a position called help desk. You're going to have a help desk model. And each employee, Daniel, as a human being, is like, okay, you have a model, how you working on it. And each individual process can be trained as a model. So this is really, truly an explosion of the AI, right? So that's really happening. But all this excitement, all this, insane claims, what's the reality, right? What's the reality? What do we should do today? So unfortunately, it's not that easy. All the amazing stuff, right? Like all the ChatGPT, it costs hundreds, millions or billions of dollars to train. It's still a very early stage, So, but a lot of the companies, MSPs, I know of already working on some of the AI use cases. So I listed here, right, from the, company like a Crashbank is doing the ticket categorizing, labeling, type, automatically detecting the ticket subtype, type, budget, priority, assignee, right? We're working on some like a co-pilot idea, sidekick with the technician. So this is the part of what we're doing is, hey, based on what you're doing to provide the context. So it's kind of like a Jarvis for the Ironman, right? Side by side with the human employees to provide the knowledge, experience, check the errors, give you the advice in real time, right? The client engagement, the client sentiment analysis, that's something AI is really good at. Is a customer really pissed or they're very happy or they told you, they say, okay, awesome, thank you very much. Please go close the ticket. And AI just automatically close the ticket, right? Without require the human to review, right? So AI phone analysis, the sales, there's a tons of the startups are managing the phone call, right? To extract the information from the phone call, attach them to the, analyze the wording. Some of them can attach to the timing tray, improve the quality of service, or even automatically reply based on the sense happening. An AI generated dashboard and the bots. So AI is really good with the summarize the data. So right now, we still need to manually go create the dashboard, bar chart, line chart, pie chart. But with AI's help, you can just go ask, hey, I want a line chart for the last 12 months moving average of how many tickets opened, right? So suppose the AI can just give you the bar chart right there. You say, oh, I don't like the bar chart. Can you change it to line chart? bang, there you go, right? So those are the start already see the use case slowly rolling out. Of course, the marketing, content generation, you want a job description, you want to create a marketing campaign, you want to develop a white paper, build an instant response plan. There's tons of use cases there. So I think that ultimately the best use case is training the AI with your own data. So AI, certain kind of model AI will know your business, your MSP more than anyone else, include the owner, include the most senior, service manager, technicians. So like all those ticket data, knowledge base, employee handbook, IMN data, you fit into the AI, you can really make it work, right? So this is but nothing gonna happen immediately tomorrow, but I think the next 2-3 years, we're gonna see a lot of very cool features, some of like jaw-dropping features can be released, right, in the next 2-3 years. So if anyone have the good use cases, here's my email address, please feel free to send over. I'm really, excited to see all the possible use cases. And of course, right, we cannot talk about the AI without talking about the risk. So there's a tons of research, right? The bigger one to say where's the humanity gonna go, right? Like I already mentioned, if AI really become the super intelligence, Hollywood has so many movies about it already. Where exactly can I go? How exactly are we gonna control it, right? So that's a much bigger existential questions. But in the short term, right, even your day-to-day, what about the data privacy? ChatGPT can turn off the history if you don't want it's uploaded. There's the user consent opt-out requests. And all the API data, ChatGPT already switched a couple of months ago from automatically using your data training by default. Now all the API is a default, anything send the API is not being used training unless you specifically told OpenAI, yes, please use my data to do the training. Because there's so many outcry about, hey, you cannot take my data, the privacy and the confidentiality. Hallucination, right? For the people who's not familiar, it just AI can give you just kind of like a similar like a human, right? Sometimes the human gave you super confidently tell you something wrong. AI is very good about that, right? It just like constantly, it every time gave you the very confident answer, but when you really verify it, it's really wrong. So you need to be very careful about it. This is not a Google, but honestly, even the Google, right? How do you know whatever show up the Google or Wikipedia is really true? So, and other stuff like legal, regulatory, what about the GDPR, right? CCPA, FINRA, HIPAA, right? Also, there's a lot of companies using the AI for the hiring and the marketing. You could potentially trigger if you're not carefully examine the result, heavily rely on the AI, you can trigger the discrimination, of which Amazon get in trouble with that, or force advertisement, right? You use AI generate some marketing piece, it's not true, then you're on hook. And also the cost, right? The OpenAI's price been dropped to like 100-fold since the initial release. Depends on what you do. So the price is drastically reducing almost every quarter. But in the meantime, if you send the terabytes of the data to train your own data, you really need to be very, very careful, right? So, yeah. So this is all the risks, right? I give everybody a cue, but if you search this one or even go into the OpenAI, right? ChatGPT, ask about this. It will give you more detailed information and Google. So hopefully this will just open the door. So hopefully everybody can do more dig for your own practicality, right? So this is the next section is what exactly we need to do today. So there's a long-term 20, 30 years, it looks like. There's a short-term, 2-3 years. But what about today, right? So this is something I've been working on this area, right? Since day one, 2019, I named the company MSPbots.ai. So we're not when we did the fundraising, right? When we talked with the investor, they said, okay, another AI company, right? Just like the earlier showed. So MSPbots side is a little bit different. We've been preparing this for 6 years, 7 years, right? And even started the funding time 2019, was aimed to say, I didn't know it's going to be a large language model, but we know it's going to be AI is coming. But how exactly, when then the AI game is really the data. So last couple of years, we've been working with a lot of MSPs. So start with automation, then prepare the data, do the AI. So I think this is really the couple of the really common mistakes, right? So I think the number one get less and less, but people are not paying attention to the automation. I think it's going to be a huge mistake, right? You got to have the right mindset and culture, do the relentless automation. I remember last year, IT Nation, right? Their whole big topic is about relentless automation. And number two, you got to have a good manual process, right? There's a lot of companies, consulting company helping document the manual process. If you cannot document a good manual process, AI is not the magic wand. It's not going to swing the wand and magic happens, right? And you got to have some kind of dedicated resource. I understand a lot of small business doesn't have the dedicated say, oh, you are the AI engineer. The bigger companies, many of the bigger company I'm working with, they have this dedicated AI engineer position, right? And for the smaller ones, at least you dedicate a certain percentage of somebody's time. So your KPI, your quarterly logs is deploy some automation. It cannot be, oh, I'll do something when I remember. Most likely it's not going to happen. And not engage with the community. AI is growing so fast. Even I'm in this world, I feel like it's so overwhelmed every day. There's something new, something new come out, right? Something I need to pay attention. Also, it takes a lot of time. So it's much better you engage with community, learn from others using what other people already developed instead of start everything from the zero, right? And the last one is the expectation setting. This is something super exciting, super powerful, but it's not something set it, forget it. We're still at the early stage from the application standpoint, right? Really using it. So the early adopter will get a lot of advantage, but also you need to put in a lot of effort. So it's not like set it or forget it. Of course, you can choose, let's wait for 2 years when everything's mature. That's actually not a very bad decision, but this depends on where your company stage is, right? You need to make that decision there. So as I mentioned there, for all the AI game, right? Currently, the models are cheap, like ChatGPT. It's getting cheaper and cheaper, or even free. If you want, you can go to Llama 2, the most powerful most powerful large language model released by Meta, right? It's open source. You can build your own AI, and millions of people playing with that free open source, building their own AI application there. So there's no differentiation on that part. Models are improving every hour while we're talking. So model don't understand your data, your client, and your accurate data is your most important assets. Unless you are, willing to go hire a very expensive large language model engineer, otherwise you might as well work on your data. So hopefully some other people will train the model, because to train the model takes a long time, a lot of data, but without your data, even you can give the ChatGPT, it's going to be a garbage in, garbage out situation. So this is what we did the last couple of years, really to focus on to say, be prepared for the AI, so things you can do today, right? So this is what MSPbots did. We built this dashboard. I personally can confidently say we're the most powerful BI tools dedicated for the MSPs. We have more than 4,000 pre-built KPIs, in those widgets, we call it, more than 70 integrations, really give you the visibility. So you can put on the TV, on the screen, so you can easily say, hey, here's all the data, and red, yellow, green, so you can say, no, that data is wrong. No, that data doesn't make sense, right? Make it very easy to use. Here's portion list. We'll keep adding more integrations. So as you can see, we're focused on the MSP world, really just like what are the MS software MSP using, and we're constantly, hopefully within the next year or two, we'll cover pretty much 90% of all the MSP software. So help you collect the data because that's the essential for the AI training, right? Then once you collect the data, but we all know employees, owners, we're all human, we make mistakes. So it's really just like how to use the process automation to guide employee with the data. Do the data-driven decision-making, do the bots-driven to help, get the data accurate. So we have a lot of pre-built, easy, customizable low-code bot is working co-pilot with the employees to help them, to really become better in enter the data and use the data to make the decision to react on it. And we also have built this community. Our professional level of the package include unlimited concierge service, so we can help people building the dashboard. But when we build the dashboard or the bots, we share with the community. So you have this community style share. Meantime, we also work with many of the industry vendors, MSP Advisor, Enable Benchmarking, right? From the Eureka process, Burry McKinley, MSP Finance Team, Pivot Crew. So all those consulting companies, software vendors, really help building the partnership to create this community-driven, BI and the process automation, right? So some very quick flip through. We have this one we call a Copilot bot. It's integrated with Teams, Slacks. It acts as a virtual service manager, assistant. So it's do the real-time employee check, right? We check the data, check your dashboard. If we find out one of your dashboard data become red, we send an alert, which is pretty much the service managers, all the managers doing every single day. So it ends up like this one for our advanced users, so they can save 30 to 40% of their service manager's time and ends up doing 100 times better job, because you're never going to have a service manager can check 100% of the time entries in real time for 20 people. Physically impossible. And even just Copilot to help the employee, it drive the 20% productivity. This is not even using the machine learning, just some simple rules like, hey, your time entry is late. Hey, you didn't, you enter the time entry, but it's not attached to agreement. You close the ticket, but ticket type is wrong. It's still called must change, right? So those basic issues, bill was not paid, server was offline too long, backup didn't happen more than 48 hours. We can instantly remind people. Here's a couple of screens, right? Step one, you go to the dashboard and click create bots. And there's three simple step visit, right? And which dashboard you want to monitor and what's the criteria is considered the problem and how often you want to bot check it, right? Once bot find the problem, you can program who you want to send to and what's the content, what's the message. As you can see here, the message here says, hey, Johnson, you have a ticket entered 26 minutes late. We require the real-time time entry while you wait for 26 minutes. It's a bad thing because, you wait for memory refresh, missing the billing, not accurate. Other people don't have the information. And you can even include a 2 minutes video, how to fix it. So it's really mimicking what the service manager is doing from monitoring the data, identify the problem, find the responsible user, then give them the reminding and the training. So it's work 24/7 in real time, and it's very content aware. So it's very easy to use. And also we have the OpenAI integration and the RESTful API call. We can do the write back with the advanced user, right? So that means we not only can alert people, we can also process the data and even flip the status, create a new time entry, create a new tickets, or even QuickBooks journal entry if you have a clear defined rules there, right? So that's mimic a lot of work. Then we have the community, right? We work with Burry McKinley, TBG, Uncle, and Eureka process. So many of the team GPS, like we provided the team GPS all the data necessary. that you can use to motivate, incentivize, award the right behavior, right? So it's a lot of good a partnership is built in there. So during the partnership, we have this application marketplace. So we have work with MSPs with some specific, one of the highlight areas, this next ticket is actually a side project for us, using the data to drive the ticket dispatching. Basically, whatever you train your human dispatcher to do, we convert them into the algorithm rules. So far, right, we've been able to get a lot of company move over to this. We have a lot of case study, ends up it can save about 80% of the dispatcher's time and totally eliminate the cherry picking, random picking, or ticket black hole. And they save average about 10, 20 minutes a day per technician and literally do 100 times better job from the speed, accuracy, response time, consistency, availability, right? So those are kind of basic automations you can immediately implement, immediately save a couple $1,000, immediately help people get better data. So when the AI is ready, you can start training it. Some other stuff, right? Like this attendance manager, right? It's also, we developed it during the COVID time. Initially, we were trying to get hey, utilization is the #1 KPI for the technician, right? As a ConnectWise always training. Back then, my ConnectWise training, if it's not in the ConnectWise, it didn't happen. If you didn't enter the time entry, your utilization gonna suck, right? If you're not 85% utilization, what the heck are you doing there? So we developed the bots to help the utilization. So we say who's working, who's not working, when you go on lunch break, all that stuff. We capture the very accurate time. Then when the COVID happened, we built this dashboard. People love it, right? You can give you who's working, which ticket they're working on, how long they've been working on, how long they've been idle, right? Even those situations. So all of these are helping you get the more accurate data, you more, get people in this process, make sure people abide the process, make sure you can tweak the process, make sure you can put the process, convert them as a bot and share with the community. Eventually, you get your data more accurate every day, and we can throw in the AI, start doing the really training. So last one is we have this peer group and the benchmark feature, right? We can compare, for myself, the peer group just provided a tremendous value back then. So we built this one as a peer group feature, is totally free for any MSP. Selfish side, that's our lead gen, but I think ability for you to compare your data with any other MSPs, see how they're doing compared to yourself, right? I think that's valuable, to your peer groups. So yeah, that's my session here, right? The shameless plugin here, you can sign up the free version at the app MSPbots.ai. We have a free version, free forever version. You can play with it, try it, using it, right? Of course, right? Welcome to upgrade to the, talk with us about, and if anything about AI, feel free to send me the email. This, as you guys can, hopefully you can see, I'm super passionate about this. This is an epic journey, next 20 years in front of us. So I cannot wait to see how Sensby pan out. I definitely want to be part of it and help everybody to along the journey to make this journey easier, right? That's me. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Daniel. I have a couple of questions for you on this matter of AI. We've got a couple of questions from the group now. You talked a lot about what AI can do, what MSPs are, some of the use cases in there. And I'm curious to know, well, what is it that AI can't do? Like if you're looking at how to deploy AI, that's one part of it. But then there's the things it's like, what should I not think about using AI for? Because it's just not ready anytime soon.
Well, yeah, from the fundamental, it's from my belief system, depends on you. So from the what time frame you're talking about, right? 20, 30 years, it's hard to believe there anything AI cannot do. But in this short period of 2-3 years or 2-3 months right now, there's tons of stuff AI cannot do. It's still pretty not intelligent right now because it needs a lot of training. Right? Like this ChatGPT, people don't know the ChatGPT internally, they call it GPT 3.5. So which means they have the GPT-1, 2, 3, which is pretty bad, right? So I think, as the use case list there, today, the AI on the professional space use case is still very limited. It needs a lot of people like MSPbots, right? And other companies, Bank, and then many others actually working very hard to make it become useful. We see the potential, but today, it's still limited, like a sentiment analysis are very good, right? Oh, to the category, it's a start, like if you put the garbage data, it's the result is kind of like, is there, not there? But if you say, oh, create a job description for level 1 tech, it can do an awesome job, right? So, and this thing is shifting literally daily or weekly. It's like so fast. Something it cannot do yesterday, bam, you see a paper next week. Like, oh, somebody already solved that problem. That's the fascinating part is, majority of the AI stuff are open source, which is unbelievable, right? You go there, look at, oh, this is amazing graphic, video editing AI. Then you look at the bottom and says, oh, here's a GitHub. You can get the source code for free. So since moving so fast, you got to keep watching it.
Okay, now if you keep watching it, I'm kind of curious to know, essentially, what's going to happen if you're an MSP and you're adopting some AI for some of these use cases that are available now, but what happens like down the road 4 or 5 years and it's evolved a lot? Where's an MSP going to be if they're not involved in using AI? Like if they just kind of sit it out?
This is what happened in the human history, right? As long as there's dogma. Some people, this is the, what's the innovation diffusion, right? Some people are the 5%, the people willing to camping at the Apple store for 3 days for the first iPhone, right? Somebody says, where's my BlackBerry? I cannot buy it anymore. I have to switch to a, touch screen phone. So I think it's everybody have a different situation. But this AI is such a power tool. It kind of like people say the typewriter with a computer, right? It will be replaced. It's a matter of time. So there's a Goldilocks balance there. You don't want to be too early, too much time. Then you become those innovators who ends up getting nothing, right? Facebook is not first social media, right? Microsoft Word is not first word processing. So you don't want to be the first batch. Let's spend tons of time experimenting and ends up wasting your productivity time. But you don't want to lag too far behind, right? But I do believe the people not adopting will be replaced because this is not a 20%, 10, 20% productivity increase. This is 100%, hundreds times productivity increase. You cannot compete if somebody who's 50% better than you. But if somebody is 100 times better than you, good luck. You're not going to exist for very long.
All right. So what do people need to do today if they're like, okay, I don't want to be like super early adopter, but I want to come in at the right time? What steps would you take today to put yourself in that position so that you're not falling too far behind?
Yeah, I think this is what we're trying to help the MSPs, right? First, you need to be prepared, adopt, right? With really get your data straight, get your process ready. Like I said, AI is not going to be a magic wand. You say, oh, somebody going to invent the AI, just come here, make my profit, make my net profit margin jump from the 5% to 20%. I don't think it's going to happen that way. If you don't have a good manual process, internal data control, when the AI is ready, the AI through in says, oh, your data is all garbage. I'm going to give you some garbage conclusion. You're going to like, the AI is not working. Duh, right? It will not. I wish it's AI, but on the other hand, right? If it's really somebody magically figured out to say, download AI, $1,000 a month, you have a beautiful MSP. Guess what? There's probably 1 million people going to start an MSP tomorrow and all become successful. And if 1 million people are going to be successful, nobody going to be successful, right? That's just the way how business works. Some people are going to racing to the bottom and says, hey, it cost me $1,000 for AI. I'm going to charge a penny per month. This industry is disappear, right? So there's some difficult work you need to do. the innovators always win there, right? So it's not going to be just easy teasy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. So that's the questions I had, and I just want to thank you for your time, Daniel. If anybody wants to know more about AI, I've got Daniel's email there, because he's got a ton of knowledge as to the practical side of how AI is being used in MSPs today and what the possibilities really are. I just want to thank everybody for coming out today, and your participation is greatly appreciated. Cheers. Thank you, Daniel.
Bye.
Bye.